I'd always been into older guys. Not the usual he's 40 and goes to the gym kind, but real deal senior citizens. Guys with stories, wrinkles, hearing aids, and a drawer full of random pills. There was just something hot about someone who'd lived a whole damn life before I was even born, who didn't need to impress anyone. No games, no ghosting, just warm flannel shirts, slow jazz, and fingers that knew their way around more than just a newspaper. Harold and I met in the most unexpected place. A niche forum buried somewhere between Craigslist personals and a Reddit thread for antique furniture. His username? Big Granddaddy 76. I should have known I was in for a wild ride. He messaged me one night out of the blue. "You look like you could use some spoiling, son." I replied instantly. "You look like you give great conversation." We chatted for a couple weeks, Harold sprinkling in stories from his younger days. He'd been in the Navy, briefly married, out of the closet since the 90s, and had no filter. He flirted like a man who wasn't worried about rejection, because he'd survived real loss, real heartache. And then, finally, he invited me to come visit. I asked him for the address. When it came through, I laughed. "You serious?" I messaged him. He replied, "Dead serious, and still very much alive." The address was to a nursing home called Cedar Pines Senior Living. It was 2 hours away, and I had nothing better to do. So I packed a bag, put on my tightest jeans, and hit the road. The place looked like every nursing home you've ever seen. Beige walls, plastic flowers, a woman at the front desk in teal scrubs and bright white sneakers. "Are you here to see a resident?" she asked. "Yeah," I said, glancing around. "Harold, room 114. I'm a friend." She nodded without blinking. "He'll be happy to see you. Down the hall, last door on the left." The walk there was surreal, like sneaking into a church wearing a crop top. Everyone I passed looked at me like I was either lost or a new volunteer. I felt like I was breaking the law, and I kind of liked it. When I opened his door, Harold was already waiting, sitting upright in a recliner, watching an old black and white film on mute. Well, he said, eyes scanning me. "You're taller than I pictured." "You're exactly how I pictured," I said, stepping in and closing the door behind me. He motioned to the bed. "Make yourself comfortable. I only have one roommate, and he's out for the day. Art therapy." I sat down, suddenly feeling every bit of the 52-year age gap between us. But not in a bad way. Harold had presence. He wasn't some frail old man. His body was worn but solid, his eyes full of mischief. "You want something to drink?" he asked, pointing to a little dorm fridge. "I got ginger ale, prune juice, and some things I can't legally say I have." "I'll pass for now," I said, watching as he leaned forward, the fabric of his slacks pulling just enough to show off what looked like a pretty promising bulge. "So," I said, "what now?" He grinned and leaned in close. "You ever had a gummy?" I blinked. "Weed." He let out a dry chuckle and reached for the little cup on his nightstand. With a casual pop, he removed his dentures, dropped them in the solution, and turned to me with a devilish gleam in his eyes. "Not that kind, sweetheart." I swallowed. "Oh." Then he knelt in front of me. What happened next was transcendental. There's no other word. No teeth. Just warm, practiced lips and a tongue that should be studied in art museums. Harold didn't rush. He didn't tease. He honored it. It was like I was a one-man religious experience and he was the priest. I moaned, gripping the rails of the bed, trying not to lose it in the first 2 minutes. When I finally finished, breathless and borderline trembling, he wiped his mouth with a tissue and sat back down in his recliner like he'd just read the newspaper. Wow, I said. He smirked. "You boys spend too much time with apps and too little with men who know what they're doing." He handed me a ginger ale. I took it without hesitation. We talked after that, for hours, about life, regrets, lovers lost and found. He showed me an old photo of himself in his 20s. He looked like someone who would have been a regular at Studio 54. By the time I left, the sun was setting, and he walked me to the door, cane in hand, proud as ever. "Come back sometime," he said. "I will, I promise." And I meant it, because sometimes the best experiences come in the most unexpected places. with the most unexpected people. And sometimes, the best head comes from someone who knows exactly when to take their teeth out. On the drive home, I didn't realize I was smiling until I caught my own reflection in the rearview mirror. My lips were parted, my hair a little messy, and my skin flushed in that way it gets after sex. So, good practically rewires your brain. I turned onto the highway with the windows cracked and the radio low. Some soft oldie was playing, The Platters or Sam Cooke or something. And for the first time in a long time, it didn't feel out of place. I was humming along before I even knew the words. Harold, God, that man. It hit me like a wave of heat between the legs just thinking about it again. The way he looked up at me with those sly eyes, dentures off, tongue working like he was born for it. No teeth, no hesitation, just pure, skillful devotion. I could still feel it. Every slow stroke, the way he gripped my thighs, the little grunt he made when I moaned his name like a kid who just discovered religion. I shifted in my seat, adjusted my jeans. I was getting hard again just thinking about it. Not ideal when you're doing 70 on a highway with 2 hours to go, but there I was, grinning like a perv and riding a euphoric wave of afterglow. I've got granddaddy issues, I muttered to myself, shaking my head, like serious ones. My brain kept flashing back to little moments, how steady his hands were, how warm his mouth was, how confidently he moved. Not like the guys my age, who treated head like a chore or a quick stop on the way to something else. Harold took his time. He loved it. He treated it like jazz, slow, smooth, and unpredictable in all the right ways. Another image popped into my head, his dentures clinking into that little plastic cup, like the opening act of the main event. That sound was now forever associated with the best blowjob of my life. I'd never look at Polydent commercials the same again. Jesus, I whispered, my hand lightly pounding myself through my jeans. Every 5 minutes, I caught myself zoning out, reliving it all, the tension in the air before it started, the gentle press of his hand on my chest, that low voice asking, "You ready for this, son?" And then, God, the way he went to town. It wasn't just sex. It was a lesson. I could feel myself grinning again, giddy, like a teenager who just discovered what his body could do. I rolled my window down all the way, hoping the wind would cool me off. It didn't. Every bump in the road, every vibration, was making me remember more. His warm breath, the slick slide of tongue and gum, how he moaned softly when I grabbed his shoulder. I let out a laugh, a full from the gut, I can't believe that happened laugh. I wasn't just smiling anymore, I was glowing. I knew then I'd never forget Harold, ever. He branded me, not with hickey or a name tattooed across my chest, but with an experience so unique, so blissfully filthy, that it became a permanent chapter in my story. And yeah, maybe I had granddaddy issues, but after that afternoon, I wasn't looking for a cure. It didn't take long for me to go back. The next weekend, I packed an overnight bag like I was headed to a bed and breakfast, not a nursing home with squeaky tile floors and the faint smell of Vicks Vapor Rub. But when Harold texted, "Roommate's gone till Monday, bring pajamas or don't winking face," I didn't hesitate. I got there a little after dinner. He'd saved me half of his peach cobbler and even managed to sneak in a little whiskey in a root beer bottle like a rebellious teen. We watched Golden Girls reruns while lying side by side on his twin bed, his hands slowly creeping down the waistband of my sweats. He knew what he was doing, and by midnight, we were tangled up under scratchy institutional sheets, our bodies locked together, our breaths ragged, mouths whispering filth between moans. I was inside him, slow and deep, his legs wrapped around me, pulling me in like he couldn't get enough. His eyes locked on mine, gleaming with mischief and raw need. "You sure you're okay?" I whispered. "I'm 76, not made of porcelain," he groaned. "Now stop asking stupid questions and fuck your granddaddy like you mean it." I didn't need to be told twice. It was a kind of moment where the world fades away, no clocks, no judgments, just skin and sweat and shared madness. Until, oh my God, the door swung open like a horror movie jump scare, and there she stood, Nurse Carla, eyes wide, clipboard clattering to floor like she just walked in on a murder scene. "What the hell is going on here?" she shouted, frozen in the doorway. I yelped and instinctively tried to pull away. But Harold grabbed my hips with surprising strength and held me in place like a man who wasn't about to let his last good ride be interrupted. "He's inside me, Carla." Harold barked with the same tone I imagined he used in the Navy. "Use your eyes and mind your own damn business. Mr. Whitman, you can't, this is a facility." He threw his head back and laughed. "I'm old, Carla. I'm gay. I'm not dead. And this young man is doing exactly what I told him to do." She looked between us, utterly flustered, unsure if she should call security or a priest. Please finish up whatever this is and lock the door next time." She turned and stomped out, mumbling something about needing therapy. We lay there for a second, stunned. Then Harold looked up at me and grinned. Where were we? I burst out laughing. He started chuckling too. It was ridiculous, beautiful, unforgettable. We stayed up most of the night after that, talking, touching, laughing at how close we came to getting tossed out mid-thrust. But something about the chaos made it even better. Like we weren't just breaking rules. We were making memories. By morning, I was slipping on my jeans while Harold sat up slowly, tousled and satisfied, sipping his prune juice like it was champagne. "Think she'll report us?" I asked. "Let her," he smirked. "You think I care? They're going to take away my bingo privileges." I kissed him goodbye at the door. Not one of those rushed, awkward goodbyes. A real one. Gentle, grateful. As I walked down the hallway, I passed Nurse Carla, who refused to look at me, her cheeks still flushed. "Morning," I said. She didn't respond. But in that moment, I didn't care what she thought. I felt something. Maybe not love, but something damn close. Lust with heart, chaos with comfort. Harold changed me, and maybe I had granddaddy issues. But for one wild weekend, I didn't feel broken or weird or judged. I felt wanted,